Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpacktrader training room for Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. Trading of this type carries substantial risk and should only be attempted with funds you can afford to do without. All right, let's put that away. We're done with that for today. Crude 9 o'clock start. The long was just a little bit too early. It was already up above the entry 6 minutes to our start time, or 6 seconds to our start time, and continued up. So that's a no trade. So our first trade of the morning is the short at 77.49. It's in that trade, just missed money management by a tick, it looks like. Money management at 31, it got down to 32. Unleaded is just out of sync this morning. It's taken 3 full stop outs and about to take a 4th. And there it goes, taking a 4th full stop out. Crude still in the short. Market opens in a little less than 2 minutes. Looking for a new setup on the YM, which is flat. We have a get in sync long possibility on soybeans. The add-on trade that I have marked up here is a valid get in sync. That's an entry at 93 1/4. Just have to see how it opens. In just under a minute, about 50 seconds now. All right, market is just about to open. Well, looks like soybeans pulled back a little bit. Got just a couple of seconds. And the market is open. We get a short setup that has gone too far, so that's off the table on soybeans. All right, soybeans with a long trade now. $93.5. And if you didn't pick that up, I'd push it up to 93 3/4. Make it push through that spike to the entry. And the YM with a short trade. Quick bang bang. Long short. Yeah, just 9 seconds down to there. That one, the long, I'd say was avoidable. Yeah, too fast on the Russell short. Russell long. Also, I don't know. Hey, you got a wick on the bar with 10 seconds, so there's a and another one on the bar after that. Maybe got there before it hit money management. So that would be a valid winning trade on the Micro Russell. Stop and reverse on the YM. Soybeans up to the session high, 96.5 for its money management and target 1. Micro Russell on a run here. Still long, or I'm sorry, still short on the crude trade. Kind of going sideways there. Stop and reverse setup on unleaded for trade number 5. Or no, trade number 6. $7.96. In a short. Here's our stop and reverse, so we're still short. In our 5th trade. That stop and reverse will remain valid unless it stops out, which it just missed by a tick. And target 1 on soybeans. 1 and done. Stop at 94 flat. Micro Russell still in the long trade, still trailing the long trade. 91.9 for the current stop. Micro Russell's been very active this morning. Was up around 2050 at 8:30 when news came out, and has come all the way down to about almost 75 points to 1977.9. So very active morning on the Micro Russell. YM kind of going sideways. It reacted fairly strongly initially to the CPI news this morning, Consumer Price Index. And we did stop at, the potential stop and reverse hit its stop. So we are still in our original short trade, not the latest one that printed there. Still in trade number 5. So that entry has canceled, and we're back to this trade, in this trade. All right, we did have a long trade on the pound Aussie. If you waited 5 minutes after the news, should be in that, I suspect. And that would have been all 4 targets and trailed up to 462. So a one and done session there. And money management and target 1 on unleaded on its 5th trade. And now we get target 1 on the crude trade as well. Looks like target 2 as well. YM pushing down again now. Micro Russell stopped out. And target 2 on unleaded, trailing at 721. Target 1 on soybeans, trailing at 94 and a half, it looks like. Yeah, 94 and a half. And so that's a one and done session on crude this morning. Took 40 minutes to get there, or 30 minutes after the trade set up. Trade set up at 9:11:03, and we go through target 2 at roughly 9:40. So almost a 30-minute trade, but ultimately successful. Still in the crude, or in the unleaded short. Crude is done. Second long trade on the micro Russell now. And money management there, and that's where it stops out. So we have a win and a break even. Unleaded at 708 for the trailer. YM with another full stop out, it looks like. Micro Russell with a short trade. Just below the 50. That's not a bad place for an entry. Looks like it just touched money management. $6.76 for on the unleaded stop. Soybean still in its long trade at 94.5 for the trailer. Already picked up target 1, so this will be a one and done session. And unleaded stopping out of trade number 5 at 6.76. Target 2 winner at plus almost a target 3 trailer. And looks like, did we get... Yep, looks like we hit target 3 on the nose, so that'll be a second win for the micro Russell, and then stopping out for a couple of ticks. Unleaded with a long trade now. And did that go through too fast? Yeah, 15-second bar. Could very well be in it. Just don't know how long it spent at the entry. This would be trade number 6, so this is the last trade of the day. Didn't like the rejected the 50 and 200. and soybeans did stop out to finish out that trade. All right, crude and long. The long on unleaded, target 2 winner, 723 for the stop now. So 4 losers and then 2 winners on unleaded. This will be the end of the trading session. Definitely had a chance to get into that. It did pull back to the entry again. 733 for the current stop. Looks like the Micro Russell and the YM both heading down. Balance line providing some support on unleaded. And crude pushing through the 50 and 200. Back to the upside. Looks like crude kind of bounced off the session open at 76.93. $7.49 for the stop. $7.59 now. Unleaded taking a run at the stop, but didn't get there. Now trying to move back up. Got a couple of swing levels to push through there. And it looks like some old swing levels back over here. Looks like a fair amount of resistance right there. right around 37.95. And stopping out, so that completes unleaded, picking up a couple of wins to finish the session. Still going to be a losing session, but not nearly as bad as it was. It's probably going to be maybe a 1% loss. Figure you got pretty close to 5% back of the around 6% it lost to start with. If you're sticking to a 2% risk. Alright, let's see if we can pull up the micro NQ and see what it's been doing. Looks like it's pushed right off the screen. Yep, it's down significantly this morning. In fact, just coming off of session lows right around the market open, it looks, yeah. Session low right after market open. That's a full loss on the short, full loss on the long, and hard to say on the third one. I'm going to assume that was a no trade and we're in this second long trade. And a break even on that trade. So we have two losses. Well, let's see, did we? Yeah, two losses. And there's a very good chance we had three losses. It looks like we probably hit the stop before we hit the entry on the that last short trade, so that would be three losses and that would end the session. So we're coming up on the crude micro Russell with a short. Coming up on the crude 10 a.m. mini session. Less than 2 minutes to go. This is currently a get in sync trade. for our 10 a.m. start time. And money management, I'm guessing that was, we are still in, well, let's see, no, we just stopped out at on the break-even stop, which was a major key level adjustment to 980.1, and that's where we stopped out. So that's a win and 2 break-evens. A minute 10 to our crude mini session, 10 a.m. crude mini session. 1 minute to go. And crude now in its 10 a.m. mini session. Still with the get in sync. Within 1 tick of money management, I'm not sure I'd get in sync with that one now. Technically, it is a get in sync still. And we've got significant support above, or resistance above, with the 20 and the 50 and the 200 EMAs. Hasn't gotten back up to the entry either. Entry sitting actually right where the 20 SMA is right now. Within a tick of money management again. And there it goes through money management, so that's off the table. And that trade stops out, so looking for a looking for a new setup. System is flat. We are flat as well. So nothing new yet. Short trade on the micro Russell. Time to get in that. And pulled back again, so definitely in the trade. Trade number 4. Short trade on the micro NQ. If we avoided this short, this would be trade number 4. If that third short or that second short was avoided, that would have been the third loss. I would adjust that around the 50. 50 EMA at 64.31. The entry at 54.75. 54, yeah. Yeah, I would adjust that to probably 53.70, 53 3/4. Go ahead and make it a full point adjustment. That's more like it. So that's where we are. Micro NQ and crude active. And that's a loss on the micro Russell. So that's win, 2 break-evens, and a loss. And that's definitely loss number 3 on the micro NQ, so that ends that session. That little reaction on the Russell is a shame, because that became a successful trade if we hadn't taken the stop. But that is trading. That's just a market risk. I use the Trade Assist automation for doing some testing, but I don't use it to trade with. So I don't have it running on the example charts here in the room, typically. The room is complicated enough with 7 different charts that I'm trying to watch at various times. Crossover filter is off now, and gotten the magenta bar indicates the 8th bar after a crossover, although it looks like we're going to cross over the other way now. And there's another loss on the micro NQ, just noise in the system now on the micro NQ. Where is the micro NQ? Yeah, not too far above its session low at 586.5. It's still 60 points above the low. Looks like things definitely slowed down at 10 o'clock. The reason I don't use Trade Assist automation for trading is because it actually introduces more complexity into your trading. It's not something you want to just run and leave. You need to be watching it, because there are things that the automation can't do that you would normally do. Just not possible to code all the possibilities in. And there's a long trade on crude. A little too fast initially. Let's see if it comes back and gives us another chance to get in. Looks like it looks like it got to 44 again. There's an entry. But unable to push through this prior swing high. A couple more touches there, right there. But just hanging around and that's now hanging around just above all 3 moving averages. And there it goes down through the stop. So that would be a full stop if you got into it. Okay, nothing going on. Micro Russell looks like it had an avoidable long and then a nice short coming on. Targets 3 and 4 trailing at 72.6. New session lows. Where was our high? Like 2050 or so? Yeah, 2058. That was right at the session, just after this, right around the session open probably, because that's 51, 53.9 for the session open, 58.4 for the session high. So back down about 100 points, almost 100 points, 90 points on the day, or on this session, since 5 p.m. yesterday. Nothing new on crude. Good morning to you, by the way, Mark. I didn't mean to leave you out. And that really is going back to the question we were talking about earlier. The Trade Assist automation was designed for back testing. It was not designed to try to actually automate trading. Micro Russell 70.1 for the trailing stop. Looks like crude bounced up and trying to come down again. Looks like we could pick up a blue short trade if we get two more down bars. Our exhaustion dot proximity would certainly be within the blue, or possibly even within the yellow for the 50 EMA. Let's see. 50's at 26. Our exhaustion dots are going to be at 25. So yeah, probably yellow trade if we get if we get a down bar here, we very likely get a yellow trade. $76.90. Let's see. Let me see where that one is. Is that 70? Currently, the entry would be $76.99 for a short trade. Now at 13. Well, and we get an up bar, so now we have to start looking all over again. 16, 17, so we'd be at 77.07, and still going up. And there's our long trade, 77.23. Long on crude. Another short on the micro Russell. This is trade number 6, so it's the last trade of our session. Definitely in that trade. Micro NQ and the YM both showing a tendency to turn upward at this point. Micro NQ actually in a upward drift. And stopping out on the micro Russell. Two wins, 2 losses, 2 break evens. The wins were big, so it's still a profitable session. The magenta dots are, that's a trade, you're talking about the magenta bars here. This magenta bar, or are you talking about these dots here? These dots are exhaustion dots, which would be, or in this case, that would be for a short. We had an oversold situation, so not getting a short. Same with these dots. But then our exhaustion dots here set up a long, actually these exhaustion dots were the ones that set up the long trade. Up to the entry here. And that's what we're in now. And all 3 markets turning up, as well as crude. Crude came up, tested the 50, got within 1 tick of the 50 again. Let's see if it can get through. YM with a fairly strong upturn here. Also the micro NQ and the micro Russell. Crude still on the same bar, trying to work up through the 50 EMA. And we now have a stop and reverse set up. 77.09 for the stop and reverse. But meanwhile, we're still in the long trade with money management there. And back up to the long entry. Taking another push up toward the 50. See if we can push through it this time. We did trigger into the short unadjusted, so that will remain valid unless we hit the stop or the entry. If we hit the entry, we'll stop and reverse. Or the adjusted entry, rather. The only thing that will cancel it now is the stop, hitting the stop. And there is the stop and reverse. So 76.99 is actually our money management level, 10 tick minimum. All right, there's money management. So stop at 77.08. Okay, yeah, the upper dots are just the exhaustion dots on the for a short side trade. Mark, that's the magenta just happens to be the color of the third dot. Just like you've got green dots on the low side for long trades, long trade possibilities. And stopping out on crude. So that is actually the end of the session. That was trade number 3. And that basically wraps everything up. So regular schedule the rest of the week. 9:30 regular session tomorrow morning. 10:30 crude oil inventory report tomorrow. And regular 9:30 session on Thursday. Next week will be a little bit different because of the Monday holiday. President's Day on Monday. So crude oil inventory report will not come until 11 a.m. on Thursday. So that's when our crude oil inventory report session will be, is 11 on Thursday next week. Otherwise, the 3 9:30 sessions will be as normal. So we will see everybody tomorrow morning at 9:30. Regular session 9:30. Crude oil inventory session at 10:30 tomorrow. Any other questions today? All right, I don't see any questions coming in, so I will call it a day and see you tomorrow morning. Everybody have a good one.